Hey, losers. I mean, thank you. Thank you for the subs. Should get some music going here. What am I doing? I wasn't thinking ahead. So let me get that pulled up real quick. To see remix. Maybe they have a Donkey Kong Country playlist. I go for some Donkey Kong Country music. What? I like Donkey Kong Country music. Punch is looking at me like I'm crazy. We all know. Playlist. Got here. Donkey Kong Country OC remixes. Excellent. That should keep us busy. We're gonna have some commercials, unfortunately. Go away. So this track is called OSHA Violation. It's probably from one of the mine levels or something. Alright. DK, okay. It might be better. That one. Okay. For some reason, my microphone was going into 2 audio inputs, which was weird. So we stopped that. And hopefully that's all set up. It's got filters. Good. Why isn't it picking up? There we go. There's some music. Maybe. Okay. We're gonna say that's working. Seems to be working. Anyway, I've never played Donkey Kong Country 2, okay? We played the first one over and over and over and over and over. Never played any of the sequels. Because that's what happens sometimes. Anyway. We're gonna do some Latin, though. We're not gonna be playing a video game. Less DK is probably for the best? What? But it's my favorite game that I can beat in under 12 hours. And I do hear the second one is actually the best. Oh, look at that face! You're giving me that face, Mr. Cunningham. Whatever. It's a fun game. I got nothing other than that. So last time we left off, Juno complained a lot and went to the god of the winds and was like, destroy him. And Aeolus said, sure thing. So he created a huge storm. And Aeneas said, I wish I were dead, essentially. So we just finished his speech. And we'll start at 102. Talia jactantis ridens aquilone procella, vella adversa feret fructus quad sideratolet, pranguntur re mi tum rora a vertitet undis, dat latus in sequitur cum lo praeruptus aequaemons. Alright. So the storm. We'll start with the storm, the Procella. The storm shrieking from the north brings the... It strikes the wave. Or not the wave, the sail. Well, straight in its face. Not that the sail has a face, but you know what I mean. Kind of while that guy was talking. Talia Jactanti. While he was whirling about such things, aka speaking. They have lots of ways to just say, he said. All right. And the storm brought up the waves to the stars. The oars were cracked, Remy Frankunter, and then it turned. Did we switch subjects? Yeah, we switched subjects. And then the prow turned around and it gave the side to the waves. So it's going to be capsizing here any moment. Oh, this is a beautiful line. Mons Aequa. Oh, the Priruptus. Mons Aequa. The... What's a good word for Priruptus? What did they say? Oh, they say a sheer. A sheer mountain of water follows from the cloud. Whoosh. It's totally open up down upon them. Super great. He, oh, I haven't read these lines yet. He sumin fluctu pendent his unta de hiskens ter inter fluctu. Yeah, okay. Fluctus aperet purit aestus harenis. All right. So the he and the he's are used here to mean some and others. So we're just talking about the groups of Aeneas' men. So these guys, some of the guys, they hung on the highest point of the wave. So, they went up. For the other guys, for some other guys, the gaping wave opened up the earth between the waves. So that image is like the water is moving so quickly to the sides that the ocean floor is visible. And that's what those guys got to experience. They went down. Ice should be heat. The surges, So the surge, Aestus, rages on the sand. It's messy right now. It's super messy. Now we can talk more about what the winds are doing. Oh, they have trace in there. That makes a lot more sense. I have trees. Just different. It's just different. Tres notus appuratas in saxa latentia torquit, saxa vocans, Itali mediis, quen fructibus aras, dorsem ane mari sumo tris iura sub alto, in breria, oh no, in breviet, certis erget, miserabile visu. I had a lot more long syllables than I thought I did. Or maybe I messed up the scansion. Probably that. In lidit quevadis at qua gere singitarena or kingit. Sorry. Church pronunciation pops out sometimes. Alright. So now the Notus, which is the south wind, it twists 3 of the ships. It seizes 3 of the ships. We'll start with Audritas. And twists them against the hidden rocks, aka smashes them on the hidden rocks. Very pleasant. So here in this line, Virgil's using a participle and a verb, but in English, we don't use participles as much as Latin does. So a lot of times it's more clear to translate it just with two main verbs because that's what English prefers, okay? I don't make the rules. The Italians call the rocks the aros, the altars, the ones that are in the middle of the waves, with their long range. What's a word for that? Ridge. Ridge is the word I was looking for. On the highest part of the sea. So there's a underwater mountain range that you can see the peaks of, and they're called the altars. All right, 3 of the ships, the East Wind, Euros, it pushes from the deep into the shallows and the sandbanks. Miserable to see. Miserabile visu. That's a wonderful expression everybody should know. Miserabile visu or dictu or something else. The adjective plus supine. Classic. Totally classic. I gotta turn down the music a little on my end. Okay. Alright. And what else does it do? And it... Oh, it dashes them on the shallows, and it encloses them in a mound of sand. That ship, well, those ships aren't coming back. One of them, the one which was conveying the Lycians and faithful Orontes, before the eyes of Aeneas himself. We only know it's Aeneas because he's the only important guy. But the Latin just says Ipsius, which just means that guy. So, but it's probably Aeneas. What happens to that ship? A great sea strikes it in the deck. Great from its peak. So it's just a huge wave comes right down onto the poop deck, which Latin students are always amused by. In poopim. It actually, what cracked my advisor up the most was when Aeneas stands in poopy, which just means he's standing on the ship, but it sounds silly. Alright. I haven't read this part in Latin. I apologize. I'll just start with 115. In poopim vered excutitor pro nus que magister. Exactly, Mr. Bushido. Just endless amusement for Latin students when Aeneas stands in poopy. Volviter in caput ast illam ter fluctusi bidem. Oh, that's nice. In 116, when we switch between that first part to the second, we get a lot of those long sounds. Very dramatic. Okay. Also, hello, Mr. Bushido. How are you doing today? Torqueta gens cercet rapidus vorat aequora vertex. I'm doing alright. I'm kind of sleepy. I'm an old lady, and the past 2 nights I've been kept up late by my younger contemporaries. Compatriots, that's a word I was actually looking to say. I'm kind of sleepy. Such is life. Alright. The Magister. Oh! I remember from reading this. The Magister of the prow, the helmsman, he is shaken off and he falls on his head. Ooh. But 3 times, what happens? What happens? Who's the subject? Ah! I guess the ship. Well, no, it's not. Illam is the ship, and that is not the subject. Number 1 tip for reading Latin: Just let the Latin tell you what it says. Don't make it more difficult. It will tell you. It won't always sound pretty in English, but it will tell you what it's doing. Alright, the wave, the fluctus, twists the ship 3 times in the same spot, leading it around and around. I added the and around, but it seemed apt. And the swift, eddy, oh yeah, vertex, eddy, that works. The swift eddy swallows it in the sea. Bye, ship. Alright, we still got another sentence. Okay. Apparent rari nantes in ger gete wasto, armaverum tabulai, quet Troia gaza per undas. That messed up. I blame Troia. Yam walida. No. Yam walidilione. Nawim yam fortisacatai. Et quae rec tu sabas et quae grandi vesaletes. Virgil does not like short syllables in this poem. Vicetiems laxis laterum campagibus omnes accipiunt inimicem bremrimisque fatiscunt. Alright. Here and there, sailors are visible in the wide whirlpool. And this is so great in 119, Arma verum tabulae, because the first line of the poem is Arma verum quae cano. It's like starting us all pumped and dramatic, and now we're at Arma verum tabulae, like everything is dead. Oh, okay. So arms of strength, literally. So he's using, in the first line verum meant man. He's using a different word here that just happens to sound the same in this form. So, also being very clever. Clever writer, Virgil. So the arms of strong people and the planks and the treasures of Troy are all throughout the water. Yeah. Now, what is going on? These are all in the accusative. Well, we're just gonna have to write it out. Now the strong ship of oh no, this is a dude's name, Aeneas, and the ship of strong brave Achates, and which one was carrying Abas and which one was carrying old Aeneas, the storm overtakes. Super. The ships, they all accept the hateful rain in the loosened pegs of the sides. So the sides of the ships have been injured and the wood is loose and water's coming in. And they gape at the seams. Well, I think they're gonna die. Doesn't look very good for our heroes. What? Punch is laughing. But I think I'm right. I think they're all dead. And I've read this before, so. Has anybody else here read it? Huh? Mr. Bushido probably has. He's a cultured gentleman. Alright. Oh, we'll find out. Someone call me out. No, nobody called me out. That was important. Interia magno misceri oh, misceri murmure pontum. E misam. Oh, that's gross. E misam kie sensit Neptunus et imis. Stagnare fu zavadis graviter commotus et alto. Prospicien summa placidum caput extulit unda. Oh, well, here we go. Everything's going to be fine now. Meanwhile, Interea. Meanwhile, Neptune. Next line, 125. Neptune sensed the sea, that it was mixed up in a great hinderschwaddle. I'm going to use that word twice in one day. Seems like a good use of the word. And that a storm had been sent. And that the stable sea, the stagna, is like the calm part of the sea, had been poured out from its innermost depths, and he was greatly troubled. And so, looking out over the sea, he brought his head up over the wave. His head, by the way, was calm, and the wave, by the way, was the highest one. Summa with unda, placidum caput. All right. Dis jactai neai to videt aequora classam fluctibus oppressus troas caeli Keruina. Oh, that's kind of gross. Thanks, Latin. Nec natuere doli Patram nones. Oh, that must have lied. Nec natuere doli nones et irae. Your dead say Zephram quevocat de hinc talia fater. Alright. So while Neptune was doing his thing, Neptune, god of the sea, he looks out at the fleet, the Classum, that's been kind of thrown asunder. The fleet of Aeneas, by the way, the children of Aeneas, technically, over the whole sea, and the Trojans that are pinned in by the waves and the ruin of heaven, aka a storm. And the tricks of Juno, as well as her anger, did not escape the notice of her brother. And he calls the east wind and the west wind to himself, and he says such things hereupon. Oh, well, we've got to go to our next slide for that. What do you think he's going to say to them? If you get it right, you get a prize. Prize is honor. Alright. Tantane was get. I guess I should try to read like Neptune. Tantare. I can't do that and do scansion at the same time though. Tantane vos generis tenuit fiducia vestri. Iam caelum terram meo sine numine venti. Misceret tantas audetis tolere moles. Vos ego sed motus praestat componere fluctus. Post mihi non simili poena commissa luetis, maturate fugam regi quac dicite vestro, non illim perium elagi saevum quetridentem, sed mihi sorte datum tenet illim mania saxa, vestras iure domos illa seiactet in aula Aeolus et clauso ventorum carcere regnet. See, I don't even need to translate that. You understand what he's saying. Alright, I'll go ahead and translate just for the sake of it. Alright, so he's pretty peeved. Does the pride, the fiducia, like, do you trust so much? Does the trust hold you? Does so great trust, Tanta, hold you of your heritage? Already now. Let's see. Without my power, will you dare to mix up heaven and earth, O winds, and to raise up such great mounds, ocean? But it's like Preistat. It's more important to put together the moved about waves. Just everybody calm down. After me. Oh, afterwards. You will pay owed penalty to me. With no like penalty. I'm kind of like terrified. Like, what exactly is it going to make these winds do? But it's going to make them do something. Alright, hasten your flight and tell these things to your king. It was not given, the power was not given to him over the ocean and the savage trident, but to me, by lot. That one holds his giant rocks and your homes, Eurus. Let him boast about himself in his own halls, Aeolus, that is, and let him rule over the enclosed prison of the winds. So, just trying to get Aeolus back into his place, because Aeolus' deal is the wind, not the sea, and he went too far in messing up the sea. And you just have to do what Neptune says. So they do. Let's just get the next page. Alright. Should probably move the chat box for these purposes, huh? Alright. Judging my husband. Alright. Nothing new. So I was judging my husband, nothing new. I'm not gonna tell him why, that's part of the fun. Alright, 142. Sic ait et dicto citius tu me die quora placat. Mess that up. Collectas qua fugat base. So them where they do get their commercial. Their voices here. Get out of there. Right. So he said, and quicker than it was said, the swollen sea became calm, and he caused to flee the gathered clouds, and he returned the sun. Ah, nice. Oh, there's some Greek names. Oh, great. Ki mothoe simul et triton ad nixus acuto detrudunt navis scopulo levat ipse tridenti et vastas aperit certis et temperat aequor atque rotis sumas levi per labiter undas. Alright. I don't know who Kimithoe is. I'll be honest. Other than Greek. Super Greek. So she, whoever she is, and Triton, at the same time, leaning on the sharp rock, they pushed off the ships from the sharp rock. And he himself, Neptune, raised up his trident and opened the wide sandbanks and made calm the sea. And then he slipped about the waves, like drove about the waves on his light wheels. So he's in a chariot in the ocean right now, driving around. I mean, it's probably led by hippocampus and not motors. But you never know. And he's going around the top of the waves, the sumas. Not forget that. There. Oh, so here's a really nice metaphor coming up. This is one of the important parts of book 1, this metaphor here. Aqueluti magnin populo sai pecorta portest sed ditio sai wit quanimis ignobile vogus Jam que faces et saxa volant dolor armaministrat tum pietate grave quac meritis si forte veremque quem conspex resilent rectis quoribus adstat. That's where my page ends, so we're going to stop there. But as when in a great populace, so think of it in terms of like it's a important people. When often sedition pops up and the ignoble commoners rage in their souls, and torches and rocks fly about, for rage makes weapons. Then, if by chance they spy some man who is moravis pietate, stern with piety, and things that he has deserved. Meritis, like service, yeah, like what he has done and given to the community. They fall silent and stand with their ears pointed up, like puppers. The like puppers part is not in the Latin, but that's the image. Okay. That's. Oh, we'll do the next line and then we'll finish this and then I'll talk about this. Ille regit dictis animos et pectora mulcet, sic cultus pelagi cecidit, lager aequora postquam, prospiciens genitor cae lo quinvectus aperto, lectite quos curu volans dat lora secundo. Alright. That one being the famous guy. He rules their souls with words and he softens their hearts. Thus, in such a way, all the noise of the sea fell. And afterwards, looking out, the genitor, the father, being Neptune in this case, the progenitor, looking out over the sea and being conveyed around open heaven, he bends his horses and flying about gives reins with to his favorable chariot. So he's just zooming about and everything's calming down as he zooms about on the ocean in his chariot. Because Neptune. So this is a really cool image for a couple reasons. First of all, probably what gets talked about the most is it's very weird. When you read most poetry and a simile is made, the simile is usually about the natural world. So when such and such was like a lion, or when such and such was like a tree in the summer and the leaves, and, you know, whatever. But this simile is going to the political world. So we have a reverse of the norm there. Obviously, both this book and the time that Virgil's writing in, pretty frantic with war. And by the time that Virgil wrote this, things were pretty settled. But Virgil was alive during, Caesar and Julius Caesar, that is, and all the weird fallout and stuff. So there's a lot of rabid crowds and politicians trying to calm everyone down. So it's a potent metaphor for his Roman audience. It's a good one. Good one, Verge. Alright. Let's go ahead. Wondering if I might skip some of it. It did good, Verge. Exactly, Mr. Bushido. I know that my praise means the most to him of all his 2,000 years of fans, but whatever. I wonder what he would think of me calling him Verge, though. Because I do. Call him Verge. Alright. I'm wondering about skipping some of this. I read it over yesterday. And this next section, let's just say there's a couple sections that are less interesting. Let's just say. Just put it that way. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit. So in this section, 7 of the ships managed to make it to Libya, which is loose geographically. They're basically in Carthage at this point, because that's where they will be ending up. In line 159, Est in sequesu longo locus, get a nice type scene of finding a place, a description of a place. The line starts with Est, the locus in it. So there is a place, this is what it looks like, there's some groves, it's a natural harbor is what they find. And so they're all excited, they start grinding up some wet cereal, wheat, because that's what they have. We'll just move ahead where Aeneas looks out and, well, no, we'll even skip this part. As nice as this part is, this next part, we can skip it too. It's way more important to get to Venus. Alright. So in this part, so they've crash land, his men are starting to eat, so Aeneas goes up to look around and see kind of who made it, and if there's any signs of the other ships that didn't make it. There isn't. Line 184. Navem in conspectu nullum. There is no ship in sight. So, but he does find 3 herds of 3 stags and a few herds of deer. So he kills 7 deer for his crew to munch on. He and Acades carry them back. 1 for each ship, because there's 7 ships that made it. And so they're pretty excited. And they start... where's that on the next page? That's on the next page. Let's just read his speech. Okay. So, go to the next page. Read his little speech. Because this is an important speech. But it was important that he killed all those deer too, because that's the thing that Odysseus did, so Aeneas had to do it too. Aeneas, bleh. Alright. So he brought back some deer for people to eat, so they're pretty excited about that, even though all their friends are dead. And in 198 he begins, "Hey, how are you doing, Austin? O soki ne quen..." Oh, it's messing me up because somebody in my copy marked this line and it's distracting me. O soki I feel like it should be long. Okay. Nequin nig nar O soki I nequinim. Oh, because there's 2 elisions there at the same time. That's why I'm O soki I nequinig nari sumus ante malorem. That came out better. Just got back from Mass. Nice. Enjoy. And enjoy listening to the trials. Oh, the trials of Aeneas. Got it. Secret message? I wish it were a secret message. It's just the scansion of the line. O si gravior radabit deus his quoque finem. Vos et scillae rabiem penitus que sonantis. Acestis scopulos vos et cyclopia saxa experti revocatanimos maestum timorem mitite forsanet haec olemem in me seuabit. Yeah, we can keep going through the whole speech. Per varios casus per totris discriminarerum tendimus in latium sedes fata quietas ostendunt illic fas regnare surgere Troiae duratet vos met rebusservate secundis. Alright, so this is Aeneas's big rallying cry to the troops. Oh, friends! Soki is obviously much deeper than friends. It's your allies. The ones who have... I'm going down to 199. Opasi graviorum. Oh, you who have suffered even worse things! Nor, in fact, are we ignorant of evils before this. Hey, Max, Latin's been going alright. I skipped a chunk of about 40 lines just now because it's my stream, so I can skip it if I want to. And I'm choking. And I'm laughing at myself. Alright. It's fate, karma, something like that. Exactly. We're here for the good bits. We want to know what Aeneas has to say to his troops. That is way more interesting than describing the cave where they landed. For me. Just my... That reminds me. I forgot. I have encyclopedia entries in the Virgil Encyclopedia. Anyway. I recalled that because one of the sections I skipped was him hunting deer, and I was writing sections on animals. Alright. So, God will give an end even to these things. That's an important line. Nice. Oh yeah. I'm good. I'm kind of sleepy. As I mentioned earlier, I've just had 2 late nights because one of my friends is in her early 20s and has no concept of time. But not bad. I mean, I'm sure the drinking also didn't help, but it's mostly my sleep schedule being off. Alright. Alright, you, Wos, you also approached the madness of Scylla and the resounding deep rocks. Oh, creepy. And you are knowledgeable of the rocks of the Cyclops also. That's good. God will put an end to all evil things, according to Aeneas. It's true. Dabit Deus his quoque finem. God will grant an end even to these things. Granted, he was thinking of a different god, but it's not a bad statement all the same. Not bad, just got out of mass, and I understand. I just can't sleep these days, so I hear you. Oh, bummer. I can't tell if Punch is being serious. Of course, he probably drank a lot more than I did, but not as much as the other gentleman did. Are you sure? How much were you drinking last night? Pray for my husband. And of course, he will. Conversion is a good way to end evil. That's actually a good point, Max. But I mean, the religion of Virgil's Aeneid is pretty interesting. Thankfully, it wasn't 42 bottles of beer. It was not actually that bad. I think Punch is over dramatizing this evening. Or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. We were just doing D&D character creation from what I recall. Thankfully, he did not actually drink. He was fine. His behavior was fine. There's no actual problem here. But he should go to confession. Everybody remind him. He loves that. Anyway. Alright. So this is in book 1, but just like with the Odyssey and the Iliad, the poem starts in medias res. In medias res. So in the middle of things. His definition of hangover is a little bit different than the one we were thinking of at the moment. Yes, definitely. He's totally just chilling comfortably on the couch drinking tea. Like, there's no... There's no terribleness happening. We're all fine. And so, in the Aeneid, we're in book 1, but they've already gone through the Scylla. Yeah, exactly, Max. I think everybody knew what was going on. There was no inappropriateness. It was all fun. So he's already gone around Sicily where the Scylla and Charybdis and the Cyclops and experienced all that business. Well, I don't know how much of the Aeneid I'm going to read. I'm going to get through book 1 and then probably switch to something Greek for a while, and then maybe I'll come back to the Aeneid. But these are things that his crew has already experienced that we would read about in books 2 and 3. Summon your spirits, your courage in this case, and send away your sad fear. Perhaps even these things once will be pleasing to remember. So that's another very famous line that once you have survived the terrible experience, looking back upon it, it might not be so bad, or even though it's so bad, you can at least find some way to appreciate what you've been through. The irony of that line, well, not the irony of the line itself, 203, Orsan et haik olem meminise wabit. There is a restaurant it's at Penn State, so in Pennsylvania, State College, Pennsylvania, and it has that in like the entryway. And so when I go with my classics friends, we're all like, is the food bad? Like, do we need to be concerned? Because we know the context. And the context is, this is going to be terrible, but you're going to survive. So why would you post that in your restaurant? Think about it. When I was babbling, Mr. Bushido? No, I'm just babbling right now. I'll get back to translating now. That's what you came here for. Not my babbling. The same reason our group of streamers has the name that it does. I guess you've got a point, Punch. We are failures. We are all failures. So, there we go. Alright, 204. Through all sorts of misfortunes, and through so many bad things, we head towards Latium, where the fates show us restful seats. Listen, man, there's a restaurant in Penn State we can go to after this. That would be a very different Aeneid. I'm not opposed to this version of the Aeneid, but a very different version. It'd be another. Now I'm just like imagining what I said in Latin, and so it would start with another locus amoenus structure. So est locus in Penn State. Here's a place in Penn State. Doc Brown, yeah. All right. So sedes here, I mean, it is a seat, but it's more like the seat of their new kingdom because they're trying to rebuild Troy. From there, it is right, Foss, that the kingdoms of Troy rise up again. Endure, Durate, and preserve yourself with favorable things. Or preserve yourself for favorable things. That makes a lot more sense. I was like, what favorable things? The deer you just slaughtered? Those are the only favorable things they have right now. Does Punch Interceptor have a preference in beer? I think we have similar, like, favorite types. The kind of Hefeweizen, Blue Moon, Cream Ale kind of beers. Hey, another Pennsylvania reference. Yingling. That's a Pennsylvania beer right there. Hey. Pennsylvania. It's a Pennsylvania beer. He doesn't want to admit it because he doesn't like Pennsylvania. Alright. I'm going to do a couple more lines just so you get a little more appreciation of Aeneas, and then we might skip some more. But we're getting near the end of today. I don't think I've had Yingling in ages. I'm not from Pennsylvania. I just have a great fondness for Pennsylvania. That's true. Stout, like oatmeal stouts, those are pretty yummy too. Guinness is okay. Sometimes. Mostly, my problem when I have stouts is I want dessert with it. Like Guinness and tiramisu. That's a meal that I can get behind. Oh, you thought I was from Pennsylvania? That's funny. No. I want to move to Pennsylvania. It had been on the plan, and then things happened otherwise. I'm just allergic to strawberries, so that's the only thing you really need to pay attention for me. But if there's chocolate involved, I'm gonna like it. Punch isn't big on desserts though, so don't take it personally if he doesn't eat it. Right. Talia wo que refet curis quingentibus aiger, spem vel tu simulat premit altum corde dolorem. So this, I just want to translate these two lines so that you can appreciate Aeneas' character some more. Because he brings forth such words with his voice, and he pretends hope with his face, but he is sick with great cares, and he presses his deep grief, or his grief deep in his heart. So he's lying to people. He doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know if it's going to be okay. But he's got to make the people believe. Poor Aeneas. Remember, the war's been over for 10 years. His dad just died. This big storm is bad. It's bad time. Alright, we're gonna skip this a little bit. Because this is just a feast scene. It's a suck, epic scene where, you know, they gut the meat, cook the deer, eat and drink, and pass out, and mourn their comrades. Pretty much what happens. Alright. So we're gonna skip down to the next part, and we will translate the whole next section. And that will be it for the day. Alright. Alright, so. Alright. And now it was the end. AKA they all finished their dinner and rested. When Jupiter I should read the Latin. Et iam finisserat cum Jupiter aetera sumo. Despiciens mare volum terras quejacentes. Litora quet natos populos siguirtique caeli. Constitet et Libiae defixit lumina regs. When Jupiter, so king of the gods, everybody knows him, looking out from the highest heaven onto the sea that carries waves, carries sails, welly wollum. Totally made up, Virgil. And so he sees the sea and the earth, the land spread out, and the shores, and the people scattered about. And so he hunkers down on the peak of heaven, and he fixes his eyes on the kingdoms of Libya, where Aeneas is. Atquilum talis jactantem pectore curas, tristior et lacrimis oculos suffusanitentis, ad loquitur Venus qui res hominumque deumque, aeternis regis imperiis et fulmine teres, quid meus Aeneas in te commitere tantum, quid troes potueri? No, definitely not. Quid troes potuere? Quid troes potuere quibus tot funere passis? Cunc tu sub Italiam terrarum claditur orbis. Right. And we have to go 2 lines for our subject because Latin. Poor Venus. Venus, who is rather sad. And she's crying. But she's crying with 4 words. She couldn't just cry. She had to be pouring. She had to be overflowing in her eyes with shining tears. No, her shining eyes with tears. She had to be overflowing her shining eyes with tears. She couldn't just cry. Very important. No, it's not. And she's rather sad at that guy, I'm going to guess Aeneas, who's tossing such great cares in his heart, because Venus is his mama. This is why epics fell out of style. Yeah. It kind of is. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's more beautiful to read than it is to translate, if that makes sense. Because, I don't know, maybe it's just English fault, or maybe just because we don't have enough epics. It just doesn't sound as good in English. Oh, maybe the Romans thought the same thing. It just doesn't sound as good as Greek. It's just so much better in Greek. I know. They still wrote them, so. Alright, so Venus said to Jupiter, "Oh, you who rule the things of men and gods with your eternal power, and you threaten people with lightning. What did my Aeneas do? What was he able to commit against you that was so great? Or what was Troy able to do that was so great that, with all them having suffered so many, I mean, we get the word funeral from this, so use your imagination. So many badnesses. Pizza flavored chicken nuggets? No. Oh. That all of them are kept out of oh no, there we go. Every sphere of Earth is closed to them because of Italy. So her, like, annoyance now is like, they're supposed to make it to Italy. Juno doesn't want them to make it to Italy, so they're not even allowed to say anywhere else, like Crete or Epirus or Sicily. Like, what did they do that's so bad? Yes, the right answer is free will. Things happen. Evil exists. But in this case, it's because Juno. The gods are terrible. Alright. Kertink. Yeah. Kertink Romanos olimvolventibus annis. Inc. Tore ductores revocata sanguine tucri. Qui mare qui terras omnis dicione ternerent. Politusquae te genitor sententia verdet. I mean, yeah. Certainly, from here, the Romans would one day, from here being from the Trojans, the Romans would one day be leaders. Once the years have gone by, the Romans who would hold all the lands under their command, and they'd possess the sea. What thought turns your mind, Dad? Genitor. I mean, she said it technically. Just adding the sass. So, spoilers, they already know that fates say Rome will come from Aeneas. So why is he having such a hard time? We love Rome, don't we? Don't we? I thought we all loved Rome here. Yeah, I mean, it is Venus, so. Right. Hoc equid sum Troiae tristis que ruinas sola fatis contraria fata rependens. Alright. This. I was consoling myself with this. At the, fall of Troy and the sad ruins. Rolling out fates contrary to fates. So she knew Troy had to fall. That really broke her heart because they thought she was pretty. But she knew that at least there was this, so that was her consolation prize. Nunc eadem fortuna viros tot casibus actos, in sequitur quem das finem rex mag elaboram. Alright. Now, the same fortune follows the men who are driven through so many misfortunes. What end of these labors are you going to give, great king? Ante nor